Welcome. In this video, I would like to address the study skills that are appropriate for all college students. If you're just now transitioning from high school to college, you might be in for a little bit of a big surprise. College will require you to be an independent scholar, which means you will have to take responsibility to create study opportunities that help you prepare your academic work. If you've been in college for a few years, or if you're a graduate student pursuing an advanced degree, you already know how important it is to study. But I hope this video contains information that will still be of use to you, because I have found in teaching both undergraduate and graduate students that the skills necessary to succeed in class are very similar. They just vary in their degree of importance. So, wherever you are in your academic journey, I hope you find the information in this video very helpful. I'm going to use a Microsoft PowerPoint presentation to help me stay on track, and also to be a visual reference for you to help you remember the points that I addressed during this presentation. My first recommendation to all students is to create a routine. Expect that you're going to have to study every day of the week. And I recommend that you create a repeating schedule so that for each day of the week, you know when your study periods will be. Get accustomed to studying at the same time on each day of the week. For example, on Mondays, set aside 8 a.m. to 9:30 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon until 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and again 8 o'clock till 10:30 at night. By scheduling your study periods and repeating that schedule on each day of the week, your body can become accustomed to expecting the physical requirements of study, which may usually involve sitting still in a chair at a table, taking notes, or writing on your computer. Fit extra study time into every spare moment that you can find in your day. If you've got a break between classes, study. I know it's more fun to talk with your friends and to socialize, and I get that that's important also to personal development. But your primary goal while at university is to complete your academic responsibilities. So, if you can find time between classes or even 15 minutes after you've finished a meal before you then move on to your next activity, squeeze in some study time, which means always carrying some study materials with you. I carry an iPad with me wherever I go, and on that iPad, using Zotero and other applications, I have access to all my research material, so I can continue my work even if I only have 15 or 20 spare minutes. If you don't carry a tablet, then carry your paper notebook with you. Or your textbook. Always be prepared to study if you find yourself with a few spare moments. And then I've got some tough news for you. We faculty expect that you're going to put in, on average, 3 hours of study time for each hour of class time. So, if you are registered for 12 credit hours per semester, which is generally the minimum requirement to maintain full-time status in the United States, expect that you're going to have 3 times 12 hours or 36 hours of private study time per week. If you're taking a larger load, such as 18 credit hours, expect that you'll have on average 54 hours of study per week. Now, this is significantly more than a full-time job, and we know that. But as sometimes we faculty say to each other when we're alone, we say, "Suck it up, buttercup. College ain't easy." So, but as you're preparing for midterm and final exams, or even end of chapter exams in some courses, you might have to devote additional time to studying so that you still have time to complete the weekly assignments while preparing for the examinations that are forthcoming. My second bit of advice is to either locate or create a study space. Get in the habit of studying in the same space, and if possible, use that space only for studying. I recommend avoiding studying in a shared dormitory room. Your roommates are likely to be moving on a different schedule than you are, and the distraction of having people moving about your study space can degrade the quality of your concentration. If you're living at home while attending college, see if you can convert a spare bedroom or even a portion of the basement to be your study area, and ask your family to respect that space as your academic space. Don't also use it for other family activities. You might need to have different spaces for the different types of academic activities that you pursue. For example, just as if you were doing a chemistry lab assignment, that has to be done within a safe scientific environment. Reading and writing might require different spaces. For example, I like to read in a comfortable chair, and I'm fortunate to be able to have a library off my office in which I have a excellent reading lamp, I've got a hassock, I can feel very comfortable, I can settle in for a few hours of close reading. But I do all my writing sitting at a desk. Having that physical separation for me allows me to change the type of concentration that I'm giving to my work. So I recommend that you have a space where you can do your reading and note-taking, and a separate space for where you compose and edit the papers that you write. If you don't have multiple spaces in which you can study, then you're stuck. You have to use the same space. But maybe you can be a little creative. Are there study carrels available at your library? And can these carrels be reserved? For example, when I was a university student, I was able to reserve a study carrel in the library for a multi-hour period on the same day each week. And I just occasionally had to nudge the student who had the previous reservation out of the space because it was my turn. But generally, it works out pretty well to have a reserved study space if you can find one. You might even be, especially for those of you who are living at home, you might be able to find these study spaces at your public library. If you're living on campus, look in your dormitory to see if there's a study room. Check with your professors to see if there are study rooms available in the academic buildings. I know our local community college has study rooms available in each of the major academic buildings, and students are allowed to reserve those rooms for group study. And if the rooms are not reserved and no one's in there, students are allowed to use the rooms for private study. It's actually a really nice system. My third advice, create a study group. You are not in this academic process alone. Select study partners who are willing to be honest with you. You don't have to be friends, social friends with your study partners, but you do have to be able to trust that your partner will tell you when you're wrong. It's nice that they occasionally tell you when you're right also, but it's more important that they tell you how you can improve your work. Again, if you can and you're working with a group of one or multiple people, reserve a meeting room ahead of time. Make sure everyone in the study group knows where the room is and for when it's reserved. Long term, over the course of a semester, I think it might be better to have a single preferred study partner for each course. But in preparing for examinations, sometimes it's helpful to work with a group of colleague students. You each will have remembered different details in preparing for the examination, and it's nice to be able to share knowledge among a group of people. Make sure you do all of the assigned and recommended readings. Now, sometimes readings will come in the form of video or audio clips, but generically, I call all of those readings because I come from a time before digital information. Trust that your instructor has selected material that's appropriate for you to learn the content required by the course. Read everything, watch all the videos, listen to all the audio clips, take notes. Review my prior videos on note-taking skills so that you're better prepared to take notes as you're acquiring these new data. Review your notes the night before class and again immediately before going to class, because your job as a scholar is to share in class what you learned from those assigned readings or videos or audio clips. Like me, you don't have an unlimited amount of time to complete your responsibilities, so we have to prioritize efforts. Address the most important work first. If you've got a test coming up this week, study for it now, even if it means rescheduling time that you would normally allocate to another course's material. Study for that exam now because the test is coming up. Put off writing that paper that's due next week. Give extra time to any material that's particularly challenging for you. Be willing to sacrifice your free time. Remember, your primary responsibility while at college is to attend to your academic responsibilities. Yes, college can also be a fun time in our lives, but get your academic work done first. Now, you may not have thought of this, but this is really important. Know your institution's progression requirements. What grades must be earned in order to progress within your program? For example, each semester I usually teach a required course in which the students must earn a B to remain in their major. Those students who don't earn at least a B in the course are then required to either retake the course or pursue a different major. So know what your school's administrative requirements are for your degree program, and they will vary significantly from one program to another. Also, understand when there are pass-fail alternatives for courses. Generally, a pass-fail course does not contribute to your earned GPA, but it can allow you, if you pass the course, to earn sufficient credit to meet your general degree requirements. Talk with your academic advisor and consider the options that are available to you, because if the pass-fail option were available and it's a particularly challenging course and you don't need a grade other than pass to pursue your degree program, sometimes it can work in your favor. It takes the pressure off trying to pursue an A or a B in the course. I'm not advising taking pass-fail courses. I'm advising that you talk with your academic advisor and solicit advice on which courses you should pursue a letter grade in and which courses you could potentially pursue simply a passing grade. Get started now. Don't procrastinate. The saddest stories that I hear from students have always come from their having procrastinated in getting activities started. Whenever a major assignment is given in class, start working on that assignment that afternoon, while all the details are still fresh in your mind. Even if all you do is outline the items that are required by the assignment, that rethinking of the assignment's requirements while the details are fresh in your mind can help you in moving more quickly to complete the activity's requirements. Study for examinations over multiple days. No one succeeded by cramming at the last minute for an exam. Instead, study a little bit each day, and as the days progress, review the material that you covered on the preceding days. Start with the most challenging material, then move to slightly easier material, and review the challenging material, moving on to even more easy material, and reviewing the mid-range and the most difficult material on that third day. Then, as you go into the examination, you're more likely to feel confident in your knowledge of the material, and confidence plays a big part in success. If you're taking classes that require you to memorize facts, such as many science classes, history courses often require memorization, use flashcards or other memorization tools to help you quiz yourself as you're seeking to memorize the details. What suggestions do you have? Leave your comments below. Tell others, how do you best study? What are your best practices for academic study? What advice do you have? What has worked? What doesn't work for you? We're all different, and we will have different study needs, but there's a lot of commonality among our study requirements. Share what you know with others by leaving comments below this video. I hope you found these study tips helpful. I also hope that you found them interesting, but I really want them to be helpful. I want you to do well in your academic work. If you've got recommendations for others, please leave your comments below. Also tell me which of those tips you apply and which have worked for you, and maybe which haven't worked for you. I like to read everything that students have to say to me. I wish you the absolute best in all of your academic study, and I look forward to seeing you again in a future video. Bye for now.